So I will move on to Nick, and the reason why Nick is here is she has actually curated a very eclectic career for herself. She is a vlogger, and she's been vlogging quite honest and sort of deeply felt vlogs around menopause and the impact of menopause on women. We talk a lot about motherhood, maternity breaks, mobility because a husband moves. We don't talk as much about the impact menopause has on women as well. We go through so many hormonal changes and how that impacts us. Recently, Nick went back to work, and she also vlogged extensively about how she felt about going back to work. In fact, Subbalakshmi says companies should be doing a lot more. Companies are actually all multinational companies, at least, have flexible working opportunities, part-time opportunities, opportunities to sort of return to work policies, for example. But also, it's really important to sort of understand what's going on inside a person's head when she's sort of taken a break from work and is trying to get back. So Nick, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Asha. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here. So, yeah, it's been a very eclectic career. So the first 20 odd years were a very classic corporate career. And actually, it was after I had my second son that things really started to creak. And by the time I had my third child, I was really, really struggling to hold it all together. There's just no two ways, no point in wrapping it up. And I was diagnosed with quite acute postnatal depression. It was quite a difficult period. So I think hormones can come up in lots of different ways. In actual fact, they start very young with us, don't they? We can often laugh at ourselves. I can hear myself doing it, but actually hormones aren't really that funny and can be very, very debilitating. So my first brush was with postnatal depression, and that meant that I did step off the career ladder because I needed to pause and to take a breath and to collect myself, really. And it's interesting because a number of things happened which really stopped me getting back onto the career ladder. So I had a very long career break of quite a few years, and I think the biggest thing that I found during that period, well, actually, there's more than one thing that I found. One was a real ache in terms of missing the intellectual stimulation. So it's wonderful being a mother, it's wonderful being a wife, it's wonderful being a homemaker, it's wonderful having some time to yourself and having that kind of liberation. But I think for me, the career was very much about intellectual stimulation, and also at a personal level, it's a lot of external validation. My job had defined me for a long time, and that was quite a journey to try and get over. But I also found that what I then did was just started to do things to actually keep myself intellectually stimulated. So, I kept abreast of what was happening in my world of work. And, I probably did more reading and became more informed about my industry not working than when I did work. Because when I worked, I was so busy trying to hold it all together, trying to climb the career ladder. I didn't really do the level of self-development I needed to do because I was just very, very busy delivering the day job. So I think that was something that definitely helped me. And then actually, when I felt I was in a position to really go back to work, I got hit by a really very acute menopause, and that really led to a whole series of new avenues. It took a lot of choices away because I just had to focus on balance, on my health, on managing energy levels, on trying to understand my body, trying to understand my priorities and so forth. And it also opened up a big wide world of, I think a significant lack of support and understanding about just how debilitating the menopause can be. So in a funny way, that gave me a purpose because it gave me something to share and to talk about and to try and help other women with. And what I would say is that despite having one thought I often have is, in actual fact, the career break and not having the classic vertical career, I think has been incredibly enlightening. And when I returned to the workspace, there were several great things I discovered. One of them was that you don't forget your core skills. you don't forget who you are. You get back in there. And I know we talk a lot about reskilling, and I think that it's very different for different industries. Certainly for me, my industry is management consultancy. And yes, I kept abreast on it, but actually I would say my break had probably added to my value, because it had allowed me to really invest in myself, and the old skills that hadn't been used for a few years were just as good as they ever were a few years ago. And actually being in a very supportive environment really helped me bring those to the fore. And perhaps I would offer that maybe we should all, not just women, but maybe men as well, maybe all of us should be thinking about taking more frequent career breaks, because I really think it helps our creativity and innovation. I think it widens our perspective on life. And I think we take I certainly found that I took a much broader, more empathetic, more creative view back into the workplace with me. The other side of that, I'm very blessed that I do have choices as to how much I do or don't want to work, and management consultancy lends itself very, very well to doing project-based work. So you don't have to buy into a full-time career all of the time. Because the other thing that I think we do need to pull into this is about choices and our freedom. So one of the things I found going back to work that I did miss enormously was a lot of the freedom I had. And I think that is a balance. And that's not just about being a woman. I think that's for everybody. And I think there is a much bigger discussion, which is around balance in our lives generally. And, how much of our time and ourself is put into a working career, and how much is left for the other things that are equally important for our mental well-being, for our hobbies, for our time with our families, for our time just to ourselves. And I think that applies to everybody, irrespective of gender. And I do wonder whether some of the challenges that we face as women around balancing all of the different things we have to balance. I'm blessed. My husband and I are a team. So when I had a period where I'm back at work full time, we share. We just share things in a very practical way. And I think, again, organisations need to look at not just providing flexibility for the woman, but perhaps part of the equation is providing flexibility for the man, the partner, because they play a very critical role in actually enabling. We are a team, so I can't do the school run every day if I'm working full time. That means my husband needs to do it too. That means his organisation, needs to be supportive of that, and we are good because we are in that position. So I think gender equality isn't just about focusing on flexible working for women. It's about flexible working for everybody. It's about a balance in our lives. I'll stop there, Ash.